I'm telling you, the Wimbledon match between Federer and Sampras was way more of a battle than you remember. If you don't know the story, a 19-year-old Roger Federer ended Sampras's 4-year, 31-match winning streak at Wimbledon. This was back in 2001. But the question is, what patterns helped the young Roger Federer dethrone the old-school king of grass? Today we dive deep into the tactics of this match, and we're breaking it down set by set. But first, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so I can bring you more tennis tactics. Alright, before we even get to set 1, I need to give you one stat that's going to show you how different this area of tennis was. I was looking at the stats and get this. In this 5-set classic, only 67 out of 370 points were longer than 3 shots. It was a match of pure first strike tennis. The key to winning wasn't in long rallies. It was all about who could execute their early patterns under pressure. Watching just the first set, you know you're about to see some very different strategies play out than what we currently see today. The serve and volley was dominating. Federer ran the serve and volley about 78% of the times he served. That's like 3 out of every 4 points. And that's a lot more than we see players choose to run it today. But Sampras was on another level of focus. Pete ran the serve and volley literally 100% of the time when his serve went in. Committing to the serve and volley like this is unheard of nowadays. But imagine what that would have been like. It is a relentless, suffocating strategy. Even comparing this to Federer's already aggressive 78% serve and volleys. The message from Sampras was clear. I'm going to serve, I'm coming to the net every single time. There will be no rallies and you will get no rhythm. I'm serving big and I'm putting it away. And it's not like this was just the first set. This would continue for the rest of the match. As you can imagine, with patterns like these, both players held their serve all the way to 6-6 in the first set. Here they play a tiebreaker and the margins get a little thinner. Let's look at 4-5 in the breaker. Sampras is serving, but Federer is about to steal the show on the return. We see an opening sequence I call tactic 4-6-3-1. Sampras serves up the tee to Federer's forehand. Federer returns middle on the forehand side of Sampras, and he keeps it nice and low right at his feet. Because it's low, Pete plays his first volley middle. He's trying to keep Roger deep in the court. Now in this position, Roger has openings on either side of Sampras. Up until this point in the match, Roger had predominantly been playing his passing shots cross. And here in the tiebreak, he switches it up and plays line for his first successful passing shot of the match. Then they had both exchanged some unreturned serves, and we get to 7-7. Here we see tactic 3-7-4-3. This time, Roger clips the net on the return, and then he drills a backhand right at Sampras' body. This forces an error and gives Roger a set point opportunity. Roger converts on his first attempt with an inside-out volley to Sampras' backhand. Now in the second set, Sampras ups his return game and he starts putting a lot more pressure on Federer's serve. The question is, what did he do differently? Well, let's take a look at his return targets. In the first set, Sampras did not get quite as many returns back in play, and he tended to spread his targets a little more evenly between a sharp cross-court return and playing middle. But in the second set, we see a jump in how often he played the middle return as he tries to play through Roger. And then when he did pick a side to attack, he was hitting with a little bit more power in this second set. This is a classic type of adjustment from a more experienced player, aiming for big targets more often and then confidently going after your spots when you see an opportunity. This started working really well and it earned him 5 breakpoint opportunities in the second set. He would only be able to convert one of those, but that's all he would need to level the score. Let's take a look at where it happened. At the end of this set, Pete weathers a barrage of Federer forehands. The point is a classic isolation and is a great play by Roger. It starts with tactic 3-3-4-4, and this pulls both players to the ad side of the court. From here, Roger stays committed to hitting forehands to the Sampras backhand. He's trying to overpower him. Then Roger sees an opportunity when Pete changes direction. He gets his chance to play cross court into the open court at the same time, but he misses wide, which proved to be a very costly error. The young Federer is probably feeling some pressure. As he faces his 5th break point, he hits a pretty good serve but then misses a high volley, and the set goes to Sampras. Now the third set stays tight right from the start, and now we have Roger trying to put on more pressure. Again, with such strong serving, we want to take a look at the pivotal breaks that pop up through this match. And in the third set, this would come in the third game, Federer was getting aggressive on his returns. And to add fuel to that fire, Sampras double faulted twice in this game. At 30-15, we see tactic 6-6-1-4. Again, Federer is focused on returning low, and he gets the ball low at Sampras' feet on the forehand side, still kind of in the middle of the court. Sampras takes his first volley to the open court, trying to spread Roger and get him on the move. And even still, Roger plays a great pass up the line. And then, to close the game out, we get yet another pass up the line, this time on the return. In this set, Federer was striking a very balanced approach as he attacked as a returner. About half of the time he was returning middle. He was keeping the ball low and forcing Sampras to hit a tough volley. The other 50% of the time, when he was returning to the corners, going for the pass, he would split his target about 50-50 between going line and going cross court. While he stayed aggressive like this for the whole set, this is the only game where he got a break. Both players would hold serve, it would come down to Federer, and he'd close it out 6-4. and this set the tone for the fourth set. The fourth set played out with more strong serve and volley tennis, and neither player really blinked. Sampras was fighting to stay in the match, Federer fighting to close it. For both players, this was a test of nerves, and they proved to be pretty steady. The big storyline in this set, though, goes to Pete Sampras. After a set of 6 holds each, we get to the tiebreak, and Sampras raises his level. He steps it up to the point that he doesn't make a single unforced error in this breaker, and he closes it out 7-2. This was probably the most one-sided moment of a very contested match. So let's look at the adjustments he made. First, he focused on serving to the corners, rather than mixing the body serve. And notably, he really dialed in on the wide target. Next, he moved a higher percentage of his returns to the middle. He was primarily trying to make Roger hit a tough volley, rather than go around him. This also helped him avoid unforced errors on the return. Lastly, he shifted his target for his first volley to go at the cross court. He didn't try to mix it up here or do anything fancy. And this is what I think a lot of people love about Sampras. He's very fundamental, he knew what he was good at, and he used it to win a lot of matches. And that skill set takes us to the 5th set. Federer starts this set with an untouchable serving performance. I mean, I think he only dropped 1 point in his first 4 service games. In Roger's 5th service game, Sampras actually earned 2 break points. This was a bit dicey for Federer, but he shut him down. The first break point, Federer starts with tactic 4-6, 7-6. And here, Federer just plays right through Sampras, taking more and more time away from him with every shot. Finally, Federer's second volley lands just out of reach. For the second break point, we see tactic 6-7-1-0, where Roger plays a forehand approach and spreads the court to get Sampras on the run. These points are probably Sampras' best chance at breaking Federer in this set, and Federer played them very well. After a couple more holds, we get to the final game of the match. Federer would jump out to an early lead and seemed to be reading the serve exceptionally well at this point. His pattern of steady but forcing returns was about to pay off with a return winner to seal the match. This was a really interesting match to revisit after this year's Wimbledon final. I think a lot of the younger players who have grown up with this baseline game will be surprised to see how committed players were to the serve and volley tactic. It's also an impressive reminder of just how much Roger Federer's game changed over the course of his career. Even still, I think he was sad to see the serve and volley go out of style. And though we don't see it as much on the ATP Tour, it can be a really viable strategy on the amateur level. In fact, it can be really dangerous. And if you're looking for some inspiration to go to the net, you gotta check out this full match. Now, breaking down the game on this level is what this channel is all about. If you love this deep dive and you want to see more tennis tactics, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. Like my video, maybe share it with a friend. Also, ring the bell so you don't miss my next analysis. And if you want to learn more about tennis strategy, head on over to my website, tennistactics.com. There, you can check out my newsletter and get hyped for my book coming out in October. Until then, hit your targets. We'll talk soon.